Hi. I have had some significant improvements in healing my structural body. I had quite a handful of old injuries. Um, and I just feel like they were limiting my full experience of this life. So like, even in my walking, I could just feel that my structure was off. One leg was gaining strength and the other one wasn't. So I absolutely 100% dedicated to healing my structural alignment in this past handful of years. And I just wanted to share the injuries that I have. So as I began to heal, what revealed itself is all of my old injuries that I didn't actually realize were so important. I didn't have a lot of symptoms. I didn't actually have any pain in my body. But what I did have was I had just my structure was off. I could feel my structure was off. It was like one side of my body was gaining strength, the other side wasn't. And so I took that symptom. So, whatever symptom that you have, it's really so important to just take that symptom and realize it's a messenger and follow its path because that's the journey towards healing. That's the journey towards wholeness and vitality. Um, and it might not be the easy way, but it is definitely the most fulfilling way. As you begin to heal any kind of injury or trauma, whether it's physical, emotional, what happens is that our body is then flooded with bliss and with pleasure. We realize how much more pleasure is is just within this natural state of being. As I began to heal the structural injuries, my rib cage, for example, completely opened and expanded. So when I took a breath, all of my ribs were just like supple. It's like I began to feel like I mean, you're completely alive, right? Of course, we're completely alive, but you could just like feel that your earth is breathing you and you're breathing it. I think so many of us have really stuck rib cages because of so much over physical work. I mean, I can't even believe like to breathe into your back ribs and to have them like open and expand. The amount of bliss that's just like flooded through your body is mind blowing. So just going to go over quickly the list of injuries that I had, and then I'll share the steps that I took in healing them. And it's really actually really simple. There's just about five things that I did, but I did do them thoroughly for years. But I also had quite a bit of injuries. So the the first like my first symptom really had to do with one of my legs not getting strength and the other one getting strength. So that told me, even though I didn't have low back pain, I knew that I had blockages in my low back, in the energy flow of my low back, my nerves to my legs. And that just really opened the door up for healing everything. So the injury that I had there was I used to train horses for quite a long time, and was very physical in my work for many years. I got launched really high in the air and landed on my tailbone on solid ground. I busted the sacrum and the tailbone and then herniated the discs in my low back. And another injury was a snowboard one that was on my T12. And then I had another one to the cervical vertebrae and kind of the head. It was a horse, and my head and a horse's head hit pretty hard, kind of this way for me, and so it herniated the discs in my neck, and also worked with my nose and my zygomatic arch and my cranium sutures. And those were kind of all the more recent ones. And then as I began to heal those, then what happened? My body just organized and realigned, and then it got me down to my pelvic floor, and I tracked me back to a really old injury that I had as a kid in gymnastics when I got forced down into the splits and it popped my femur out of the socket. And then at that point, all of my quad muscles kind of, and like glute muscles, everything around my hip healed incorrectly, which I think that might be a common thing for, so many people get hip replacement surgeries. And as I began to heal all of these injuries, it made me realize that I suspect a lot of people get surgeries when really what they need to do is, well, all of these steps I did to heal, they all need to be done. But what happens is that then just my hip fall back into place. Like I don't need to get a surgery. And then as I did this, then my body is also, because I haven't really met anybody that has gone through surgeries that feels 100% afterwards. It ends up being some other kind of issue. That's why I'm a big advocate of the healing journey takes you towards a path of wholeness and alignment. And that's why I think if you just get one surgery, then what it's going to do is going to show, like, you're always going to track where the original kind of like injury or wound, or whether it doesn't have to be linear, like this one led to this one, but it can be like this. You will take layers off and heal them from the oldest one to the earliest one. So I think that it's important to go the natural route, because then you're not causing any more damage. You're just opening and healing all of them. And then the byproduct is that you get to experience the insane amount of pleasure and bliss that our bodies are designed to process and to incorporate, to flow through with. I mean, when you take a deep breath of air and your entire rib cage expands and you're just flooded with pleasure, or when you go on a walk and you can feel you can feel the tailbone pumping cerebral spinal fluid to your brain, and your eyes are just filled with light, then you're getting your brain healed as well. Our bodies are designed to, well, for one, heal themselves. We need to help them, but then also two, we're designed, I think, to experience way more pleasure than we're experiencing. I think that so many of us are in extreme chronic pain, and we are medicating in one way or another, whether that being full blown like drug addictions, or whether and alcohol addictions, or whether that be even just like exercise addictions. A lot of times when we have a lot of physical pain, when we exercise, we're releasing endorphins. So, or eat food, we are kind of, it's a quick hit of feeling good. I think that a lot of, it's just really important to like sit still and to follow this symptom, because otherwise we're going to be running from ourselves forever and it's not fun. So, I had quite a bit of injuries and I feel amazing, and I've almost healed them completely. And what I did to heal them was I did acupuncture, a lot of acupuncture, traditional Chinese medicine. So within the field of traditional Chinese medicine, we have a ton of herbs for blood, for healing injury. Our beautiful injury formulas, they consist of herbs that will move stagnated blood. So think of like scar tissue. The herbs will essentially like clean up old stagnated scar tissue while they are promoting new blood flow into the area. So traditional Chinese herbal medicine is extremely important. Acupuncture, Rolfing was a huge aspect for me. I probably did Rolfing for a solid 2 years. And then I got onto Kangen water about, well, Kangen water came into my life, gosh, goodness, maybe 15 years ago, and I didn't take it. And then I ended up getting Kangen water a handful of years ago, maybe 3 or 5 years ago or so. And Kangen water is definitely the factor that shifted this progress, like skyrocketed my healing process. I probably wouldn't be sharing this video right now, I don't think, if it wasn't for it. So with Kangen water, It's molecular hydrogen. It's the tiniest water molecule that exists, which means it's able to penetrate all of the cells and all of the tissues. So you get hydrated at like the depth of your cellular level. And so once you're completely hydrated, then your body's like can heal. Like I don't think it can heal otherwise. Honestly, I just don't. I feel like I had hit my max all with the fields of natural medicine, and then I added Kangen water on, and it allowed the traditional Chinese medicine. I began my herbs again, and I began the Rolfing and the acupuncture again after Kangen, and everything just went way faster. All of the healing, like I feel like I kind of lingered in healing for maybe 10 years, and then I added Kangen, and then in 2 years, like everything is healed. So that's important. What I also did was daily walking. So as your body begins to shift out of the old patterning and back into the new alignment, I felt like walking assisted like the repatterning and the correct, like the new you or the healed you. It really solidified the progress. I feel like that's extremely important, as well as not doing anything that was going to deter or make it more difficult for the healing. So one thing that I think our society does is I don't know why we do like when we need to heal, we're like still being physical. That concept has never made sense to me, and I don't think it works in the body. I think that when we have injuries and we need to heal, we need to stop doing so much. We need to stop exercising. We need to stop. Like, I'm not counting, walking as exercising. That's repatterning and that's like basic healthcare. Um, I stopped going to yoga classes. I stopped going to any classes. I stopped doing, I mean, even like a lot of surfing. I think it's really important to, as the body began to open up and heal. I mean, like for me, I want 100% results. So I didn't want to deter from that. I began to realize that my bones really they wanted my help. They wanted to fall back into place. So I didn't want to keep creating more muscle and more strength to hold them out. I was so strong for most of my life. I was always in physical jobs and I was very lean and I had a very strong muscles. And essentially that held my bones out of place. So that my strength held me out of alignment. And I mean, it also held me together, right? Like when the injuries happened, but it was time that it was done. So definitely heal your body. It feels amazing. And like the byproduct, I don't know if I already shared this, but what I'm experiencing is when the bones are stacked and everything's in alignment, your cerebral spinal fluid from your tailbone to your brain flows very effectively, very efficiently. You, so like manifestation or your dreams, your desires, your soul purpose, your spirit, your spirit is living in this vessel. Like our vessel needs to not be hurt for our spirit to be like effective is the way I feel it to be. And so as I begin to heal better, I can feel my spirit is stronger and my brain is healed. So it's really just a great path to go. And I would look forward to helping anybody. If you need anything or you have friends or family that have injuries or symptoms or someone's having a hard time, pass along my information. My website is hoolawai.com. And my email is dr.amberberg@gmail.com.